Hello and welcome back to Finance 1031. It's week 11. I'm going to do a bit of review, have a look at types of costs, and we'll get into some break even. Okay, just in case you haven't heard, our final exam is week 14, a Thursday, week 14, 8 o'clock. And the project is due week 13. I believe that's December the 4th, 11:59 on the Friday. Thought I'd take a minute to have a look at some of the overarching or the big ideas of the course. So, first off, of course, is the income statement. We started with that way back in week 1 and 2, which gets converted eventually into a balance sheet. The things carried over from the income statement to the balance sheet are the net profit. Somewhere in between the income statement and the business sheet or balance sheet are the dividends. The other thing that gets carried over is the amortization expense, and it gets accumulated every year. And of course, the net profit dividends figure into the retained earnings. So there's things we have to remember from that far back. And all along the way, we've been looking at ratios, which margins is probably a good interpretation of that for the business owner and shareholders. And along with that, we have ratios that help us with analysis, and we also have common size, and we did some benchmarking last week. As well, our big theme is cash is king, so we have to look at cash flow, pro forma, and budgets. And this week we're going to look at break even, which has a lot to do with the all the above topics. And we'll get into receivables, one of the biggest problems with small business to business ventures. Okay, last week we looked at the benchmarking by using the North American Industrial Classification System, or NAICS, or NAICS as some people call it. Basically, years ago, the U.S. and the Canadian government got together and they wanted to compare and follow their industrial type exports and business and contribution to gross national product, all that sort of thing. So they divided all of the industries up into codes. And at first, it was just things like railroads and oil companies and things like that. But then, as the service businesses started to take over, they got a little more diversified, and now it's a big, huge monster of a table. And sometimes hard to find what you're looking for. My best bet is usually go to Google, and I'll Google something like janitorial, or Google NAICS coffee shop, or NAICS cleaning service, NAICS janitorial service, whatever the case may be. And that usually puts me in the right direction. A lot of cases, new businesses are so small or don't have a lot of revenue in terms of the gross national product, so they don't have their own NAICS code. So we have to find something that's a good fit. When you're choosing them, choose the province you're in and choose incorporated, because business from coast to coast tends to be very different. And I use incorporated because that gives us all the numbers that we require. Remember, it's easy to compare incorporated to incorporated, but you can't really compare proprietorship to incorporated, so and proprietorships tend to skew the numbers a lot more. And on your sheet, when you're going to do a report, you can choose an outprint, and it goes in dollars or in percent. Of course, the percent is basically a common size statement, so that's very handy. So using our SME benchmarking, we can compare a company to industry standards, look for the difference to make sure we're on the right track in some cases, see if we're better or worse. Helps us explain or look for reasons why we might be different, and also to set goals. And I mean, set goals maybe not in terms of revenue, but in terms of lowering expenses or something that's causing you to be less profitable compared to the industry standards. Okay, moving on to break even. Keep in mind that for the theme of the course, we'll be looking at small business approach, and we're going to do the same thing for break even. There are ways to do things for multinationals, all that sort of thing, that are different for small business, so we're going to stay away from the multinational approach. Unfortunately, cost accountants have renamed everything costs, but what we're really talking about are expenses. One of those things accountants do, so I may use the terms interchangeably, costs and expenses, but realize that's what I'm talking about. Now, I often get a question, is what's more important, break even, margins, or cash? I told you cash is king. Without cash, you can't pay the bills. Margins, well, if there's none there, you're pretty much out of business. And break even is one of those funny things where your margins determine your break even. And so does your overhead. So it's kind of a vicious circle in terms of trying to pick out the more important one, kind of like asking what came first, the chicken or the egg. One of those things. And of course, what all figures into there is there a big enough market to sell your goodies? We're going to avoid that one. That's a marketing question. So let's just say the three of them are pretty much equal. Now, when it comes to break even and their costs and expenses that go with it, we talk about three types of variable expenses, or three types of expenses, or costs. One is variable costs. They're typically inside of the cost of sales on the income statement. One is fixed costs, also known as overhead. They tend to be in the next section, or the operations section of the income statement. And same with the semi-variable costs. And I'll explain all the differences in the next slide. Actually, I lied. I'm not going to explain all the differences in the next slide. I'm just going to look at them one by one. Okay, so variable costs. These are ones that are subject to change over the short term, i.e. 12 months. Okay, but they change based on sales and or production levels. So sales go up, costs go up. Sales go down, cost goes down, or the expenses go down. These usually include raw materials, direct or factory labor, freight in, okay, and this is in the manufacturing sense. In the service sense, it may include, again, direct factory labor, whatever the case may be, or service labor. And in the retail sense, you're looking at whatever things you have to buy to sell. So if I have to buy some candy bars to resell them, that's a direct cost, direct expense, okay, or variable. Another note down there at the bottom. You'll also hear the word direct or variable interchangeably as well. Okay, now this is the end of the slide deck, but I end up with something very, very important. Just because a cost or expense changes doesn't mean it is variable, okay? Your insurance prices might go up halfway through the year. That really usually has nothing to do with how much you sell or don't sell, okay? Variable costs are the ones that go up and down with the sales. So direct inputs, whether it's inventory or direct labor or things you make and the raw materials, those are the direct variable costs. Okay, so just to make sure on that. Something that changes might not be a direct or variable cost or expense.